Yo, it's Trent. Make sure you sub, share, like, comment, all that. Hope everyone's having a good Monday. I know that's hard. But we got high every single day in Woods class. Or Woods class, we got high every day. I don't know what I'm gonna name it, but literally freshman year, right? I had my 9th period class be Woods class, or I guess I didn't set that up, the scheduling did, right? But every single day, besides like the first day, we just got high, and it was fun. But let me talk about it, because there were some wild times in there, and I can remember a couple times where we got in trouble, or someone got in trouble, and there was a couple fights. It was hilarious, right? So let me talk about that. And not, I won't say towards the end, but maybe in a couple minutes, I'm going to tell this story that's really good. My favorite one from Woods class, right? So to start off with, I remember the very first day, we went in there, and I recognized the teacher's name, his last name, right? We'll just call him Mr. B for this story, right? But I knew his last name, and I just couldn't think of from where, right? I was like, damn, I really know that name. And what it was his son was on my football team, right, at the time, because I was a freshman. So his son and I were both playing football, right? That's how I knew him. So he knew I played football, so he kind of gave me a break, right? He could tell that, like, because I remember on parent night, I went there with both my parents, I think, maybe, I'm not even sure, but it didn't, like, they kept, like, I was not interested in shit, you know what I mean, and I was sitting in that Woods class thing, like, they're talking about the class, I'm just sitting there bored as fuck, right, so he kind of knew I wasn't interested in it, and he knew I played football, and I don't know, I guess he viewed me as a good kid, or whatever you'd say, right, so, I don't know, I never really got in trouble for any of this, but I didn't do jack shit, right. So, anyways, we go there for, like, the first day or whatever, and he says we're going to start this project soon where we got to make these door handles, right? That was the first thing we ever did. Or not door handles. We had to make, like, these paddle things, right? I don't know what the fuck they were even for, but we had to sand it and finish it, all that shit, right? So we're doing that, and I'm literally just copying this kid. Everything he does, I'm doing, right? Because I wasn't paying attention too much, because every single day, and now listen to this, this is how my table was set up, right? I should have mentioned this first. When you walk in, there's like 8 tables parallel to each other, and there's 4 people at a table, right? My table was me, a really skinny other freshman kid, like I'm really skinny too, but he was even smaller than me, right? Another freshman kid, and then 2 seniors, right? So it was the whole thing, right? So we got there, and those seniors kind of were like, hey, you know, we're not going to be mean to you, but we'll kind of decide what we do here, you know what I mean? If we're going to fuck off, or if we're going to do work or whatever, like, we'll decide, right? And it was kind of just like, whatever, man, like, I'll do what I want to do, but I'm not going to argue it, because these kids are 4 years older than me and bigger than me, or 3 years old or whatever. No reason to argue, right? So immediately I was like, I just want them to like me more than the other freshman kid, because if this does turn it, like, I'm not going to let myself get bullied, but if it does turn into something where, like, they don't like us, I'd rather them hate this kid and like me, you know what I mean? So I wasn't going to be mean to the kid, but I remember on, like, the 2nd or 3rd day, I start handing carts out, right? I'm like, yo, I got a cart, who wants to hit it, right, before class starts? So they start liking me after that, and they start bringing in carts too, right? So now every single class period after, or like every single Woods class besides the first one or like first 2 was just getting high the whole time. We'd get there, we'd all share our carts, right? So it's not like we just drain mine or drain someone else's or whatever. We'd get there, go to the back of the class, because there was 2 rooms. There was like the wood shop room, you know what I'm saying? And there was the classroom. He would always be in the woods room when we walked in, right? Like while we were sitting down. So we'd get high as fuck in the classroom. And I remember that never really backfired, except one day, when we started, because once we were like actively building something, I knew what we had to do, so it wasn't bad. But there was a day that he's like, let's go outside, I have something to show you guys. And it was literally like a house that had been knocked down, right? And he's like, we're building a house, right? And me and like 6, 7, 8 other kids out of the, like, I don't know how many were in the class, 20, like more than half the class is just baked as fuck. And he's giving us hammers and nails, and we're supposed to be doing all this, and everybody's just high as fuck, laughing, hanging out, right? But it wasn't always happy times, and that's where we get the fun story. This is the one I was kind of waiting for, right? There was this kid in the class, and I might have mentioned this in another story, but I doubt it. Maybe, I don't know. There was this kid, right? And I don't mean to be, oh, did you see that? I had like a spit thing there. Oh, I hope that wasn't there for too long. Ugh. Anyways, there was this kid in the class, and like I'm saying, I don't try to be mean. I'm just describing what this kid looked like. He was huge. He was fucking huge. You know what I mean? He was really fat, but he was a nice kid. He was cool. I'm just saying physically, he was large and in charge, right? he was a freshman too, but he was arguing with a senior kid who wasn't like big, like he wasn't fat, but he was built, you know what I mean? He was kind of strong. You could tell he lifts a little bit, right? So them two are arguing, and the freshman kid is really just kind of nagging him on, you know what I mean? Like, he knows he won't punch him or anything, so he's kind of just, like, annoying him, right? He's like, oh, what do you do, you know? I don't even remember what he was saying, but let's just say, like, the kid would be like, don't talk to me, right? The senior kid would be like, don't even look at me, don't talk to me. And then the freshman kid would be like, oh, it's great weather today, you know what I mean? He was just egging him on, like, being a dick, right? The senior kid stood up, and let me say this again, and I don't mean... I'm just trying to get an accurate representation. This kid had to be like 350, maybe 400 pounds. And the senior kid maybe just under 200, maybe 180, 200. And the big kid's sitting on one of those little stools, like the classroom stools, you know what I mean? And the senior kid runs full speed and just goes boom right into the kid's chest, right? And I've never seen a big person fly through the air, but I did there, right? That dude flew back, and I remember his arms going like this in midair, like, whoa. And he hit the air conditioning. It was the loudest noise ever. It was like, boo, woo. It like shook the whole fucking room. And I remember the teacher running in. He's like, what's that? And the huge kid's just sitting on the ground like, damn, bro, you really did that? That's what he kept saying. He's like, you really did that? You really did that? And the senior kid was just like, whatever, and he just walked out. He knew he was getting in trouble. He just left, right? There was also, though, a day where literally, so for months, this kid sitting next to me, I wouldn't say we were friends, but we were cool, you know what I mean? We never argued. We just talked a little bit. And then there was another kid in the class who was a freshman like me, and this kid next to me, who was even more annoying. Like, the kid next to me started to become kind of annoying, right? And this other kid, though, was like 10 times annoying. And them two were going to fight, right? But the kid next to me kind of pussied out. I don't mean to be mean, right? But he did. He bitched out of the situation, right? The kid was talking shit, and he didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to get in trouble, right? And there was literally no reason to do this. I literally only did it to look cool. It's dumb. I know it's dumb. I would not like myself if I saw this, you know what I'm saying? But it happened, so I'll talk about it. I literally just did it to be cool. That kid that was extra annoying said some shit to the seniors at my table, right? And the one kid didn't want to fight him anymore, so I was like, fuck it, I'll do something, right? And I remember I kicked this kid's foot. He was walking around something, he ate shit, and then when he was like, what was that for? I like tried to start a fight with him. There was just no reason for it. I was just being a dick, right? But that kid was annoying. I'm not saying he deserved it, but I don't know. He did not deserve it, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't a great person in that moment, so I do regret that a little bit, because that kid didn't really deserve that. But don't be fucking annoying. I don't know what to tell you. I shouldn't have done that either, though. Next, though, this is the day. This final story, this is like the day that, I didn't get kicked out of Woods, but this was the day they were like, okay, we don't give Trent or these other kids hammers anymore, you know what I mean? So, one day, we're working on that house thing, right? And usually he'd just be out there working with us and kind of helping people, and if they didn't know, like, where to put a screw or nail in or something, he'd help us, right? So he's just sitting out there, but for some reason this day he went back in the building, right? So we could see him in the classroom, but he wasn't like actively looking at us and watching us, you know? He was like looking down at his computer or grading stuff or whatever he was doing, right? So we're outside hitting carts, getting absolutely fried, and some kid had a joint, right? Or maybe it was a blunt. I don't think it was a blunt. That would have been too big and like too long and too, you know what I mean? That would have taken too much time. But I think a kid had a joint. He had something we could smoke, right? Or it was like a spliff. All I know is there was a little bit of weed in there because it reeked, right? I don't know if it like, weed doesn't really jump on wood, I guess. But we were building this wooden house, and it just smelled like straight up weed, right? And the guy came out, and I remember we had a competition, and we didn't know the teacher came back outside. We were having a competition because there was a wall built that kind of blocked off vision. So we all went behind that, standing in a line. And we were playing this game with the hammers, right? Because it was like damp outside in the grass. We would throw the hammer like 5 feet away and see who could get it to stick straight up. You know what I mean? Like the back part of it like goes in the ground and it sticks straight up. So we were trying to see who can do that, right? And we just keep doing that. So then the teacher comes around the corner, and there's like, not everybody. There was like maybe 6 kids still working, but like 14 to 15 of us just standing in a straight line. It smelled like weed, and we're throwing hammers into the grass. Like, he must have been like, what the actual fuck is going on? And I remember just being so baked that I looked like at the teacher, who looked at us, and like his reaction was like, Like, he wasn't even mad. He was just like, what is even going on? And I just started bursting out laughing, and so did, like, half the group of us standing there. And it was just so funny for some reason, and I don't know why, but that shit was killing me, dude. Like, I just could not stop laughing at that. But surprisingly, and honestly, I know this is not great, right? It's a messed up way the schools work, but the only reason I passed that class is because I played football. That literally was the only reason. Is the guy knew I played football, and he liked me a little bit. After that, though, I thought for sure I was going to get in trouble. And I will say, I started the class with like a B average, and I ended it with like a C minus or like C plus or something. I didn't have a D, but I remember I had a C, and it wasn't great, and I didn't do much. But the only reason I got okay enough grades was because football. So that's kind of fucked up. But also, I got lucky. What can you say? But thank you for watching. New stories this week. I'm really busy with the puppy a lot today, so if I can get gaming videos, I will. I'm going to try to start a Red Dead series soon. I just don't know exactly. I really just don't know what to do in the game that would be entertaining to watch, so I'm kind of figuring that out. But we'll get something like that going soon. If not, there'll be Madden videos, puppy videos, all that. But thanks for watching. Be safe. Sub, share, like if you like this. Or if you didn't, sub, be nice. But alright, peace out. Be safe.